Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, dear devotees. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuttapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tang Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitanscha Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Anmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Mahavaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Tvije Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. And today, first of all, I'd just like to check in with Rupa Nuga Prabhu, because at our last Zoom, he put a note there saying, in the path of a hurricane or tornado, I see you have electricity, I see you are in your body. Rupa Nuga Prabhu, everything was okay?
Yes, in the path of the cyclone that I kept repeating the Maha Mantra and it went away. No. It did actually, as soon as it hit the coast, I'm down in South Wales, and it was coming for Brisban itself, a population of 4 million people, a category 2 cyclone. As soon as it hit the shore, it went into a low depression, and now it's just rain. I haven't had electricity for 3 days.
Okay, and Rupa Nuga Prabhu, it seems that also the internet has suffered from the storm a little bit.
So-called first world country, but all is good. Also, thank you.
Okay, Rupa Nuga Prabhu, I'm happy to know you're safe. I thought you had electricity because it looks bright, but it is the daytime.
Linked to somebody who's got a better telephone reception. So
Now, unusual thing, Rupa Nuga Prabhu's microphone is off and he's still speaking. Maybe Zoom is trying to catch up with what he said before. Rupa Nuga Prabhu, all is good. Your internet does seem to be very slow, but we do understand from that you are okay, and this is important for us. All right, so it's good to know you're okay. And I think Zoom is still trying to bring your words over the ether. So well done, Zoom. You're doing a good job. We'll piece the bits together later, but we did hear that all is all right. All right. I can see by Leela Moy Prabhu's face and Bimal Krishna Prabhu's face that they're having a similar result to me. It's not my internet, it's the eye of the storm. All right, so dear devotees, Gurudev also, Gurudev cared for the safety of the devotees. 1 year in Mexico, can you hear me okay, dear devotees? No. So 1 year in Mexico, there was a big Earthquake. You can't hear me, no? Can you hear me?
Rupa Nuga Prabhu, can we just disconnect you and then you reconnect again? I think this is the problem.
Or now we could hear you okay, Paramananda, and maybe now Zoom already gave all the sound bites. Can you hear me, yes or no?
Perfectly well.
Oh, perfectly well. Okay, it is nice to have a response when we ask a question. Okay, thank you very much. All right, so we're here, and okay, we've got a thumbs up from Rupa Nuga Prabhu. Yes, we did catch you okay, but I understand Zoom has a bit of a headache. All is good, and we've got our team happy back to basics team here, and I probably would have a happy back to basics team if I were to turn on the Zoom, the Facebook back to basics. Okay, let's see. And today, on this side of the world, in fact, all over the world, almost except for Bimal Krishna and whoever else is in America, Ganga Lila Didi and Dana, then it's the Adhivas, the day before the Nabadwip Dham Parikrama. And so today, we were reflecting yesterday evening, actually, here in Villa Govinda Ashram, about how life would be in Nabadwip on this day, or not only this day, but these last few days, building up to Nabadwip Dham Parikrama. And so we're quite a bit in Nabadwip Parikrama mood here in Villa Govinda, and we hope that the world also can be a little bit in that mood of Nabadwip Dham Parikrama. And to help it along, to help the mood along, yesterday, just to update from here, we went on Harinam Sankirtan in Lecco, and it was a carnival day. So it's I have no idea what the carnival is about. It looked very happy for all the families, and they looked happy for the older people too, because they had a few wines and beers, and everybody seemed very happy at the carnival. But we went there and we chanted Hare Krishna, and we got covered in confetti, or not maybe exactly confetti, like confetti. They had these happy people with big guns spraying confetti into the air like this. Anyway, it was a happy carnival, and we steered clear of the louder loudspeakers, and we competed with some of the smaller loudspeakers, and we went around the streets. So it was a helpful start to Nabadwip Dham Parikrama by coincidence. And so we did go there yesterday, and lots of people. Here it is unusually spring weather, and it shouldn't be so spring-like, but there we are. It's spring weather, and that's what everybody says. And here in Villa Govinda, the kiosk was fully booked from the day before. They had to stop. Orders. It was so completely fully booked. And it was wonderful here to see the whole garden area with all the picnic tables and benches full of people in the sunshine, and all that gentle sound of chatter of people having their lunch, but then just socializing and being with the devotees. But we left at 2:30 p.m. So we saw the lunch and early afternoon. And when we came back, which was like 7 p.m. something, still the kiosk was open, still with customers. And so this was very happy that just the life around the kiosk, and the life of the devotees on Sankirtan, and doing the preaching work and distribution right here at the ashram itself. So this is a little news from here, in the mood of Sri Nabadwip Dham Parikrama begins. And if I click to here, Then who's been, oh well, Sri Devi Dasi has been in Nabadwip Dham Parikrama before. And Rukmini's been in Nabadwip Dham Parikrama before. And Paramananda Prabhu. Also, Keshavananda Prabhu, right on the edge of the screen. Is he competing with Jai Gauranga Prabhu for the humility in the background section? But Keshavananda Prabhu, they've all been in Navadip for this time. So, Rukmini Didi, would you like to say a few words? She's in Alachua, I think is the name of the place, which is
Dandavat Maharaj.
Dandavat Rukmini.
You're in Alachua.
See, what would you like to share something about Nabadwip Dham Parikrama from Rukmini Devi Dasi's vision?
Long time ago. Maybe somebody first.
Okay, no problem. And then as you hear, then you can maybe remember something. And I think you were probably, oh no, not, yes, I was going to say quite young, but you weren't as young as when you received initiation. And Rukmini Devi Dasi, she told me in California when some people were coming for an initiation and wanting connection with Srila Janardhan Maharaj, who's the head of the ashram there, and some young, children, young, not a child, but older than child, maybe 12, 13 years old were coming. And then some discussion like with Janardhan Maharaj, or the young children. And then Rukmini said, well, when I was however old, she can say, maybe 9 or 11 or something, when she was quite young.
12.
Huh?
I was 12.
12. Okay. So 12 years old. Then, well, you can say yourself, Rukmini, but you said that, or I really didn't know what it was. Initiation, if I'm truthful, I didn't know what it was, but it's the best thing that ever happened in my life. So, there we are. So this is. And why was it the best thing that ever happened in your life, Rukmini Didi?
It was the best thing that can ever happen to me, because after that, I've been having like a regular life, teenager time, all the tests that we have to face in that time. But I never forgot that connection, the energy, Gurudev's energy, the association of the devotees, the love, the affection that I received from him at that moment, when I was a child. So after that, I was facing like a lot of things. Well, can even have like I didn't know like who is Krishna, if everything is real. Like, if my mom was telling me so many things, but one thing I knew was the Gurudev's affection was just like catch me. So after that, I was like, I don't care. I don't mind if everything in this world is true or false. I just have one thing is that Gurudev smile just catch me. His affection just embraced me, and I think that was the thing that saved me in my teenager time. And after that, I just want to be with him and with the devotees. So that was the best thing that can ever happen to me.
Jai.
Aye.
Hare Krishna. Now, who's going to follow that? Beautifully expressed, Rukmini. Truthful from the heart.
Thank you, Maharaj. I'm very shy to speak in English, but thank you. I almost cried. So
Jai Srila Gurudev and Srila Gurudev's affection. And we heard an expression, I think, from Kumkum, just here, maybe it was on Zoom a week or so ago, but she said an expression which I hadn't heard for a while, an expression that Srila Prabhupada built a house in which the whole world can live. Are you familiar with that? Maybe Srileka's nodding her head. And so really, this house, we got entrance into this house and we got a place in this house by the affection of Srila Prabhupada. For that, those who were fortunate to meet with Srila Prabhupada and Srila Guru Maharaj and Srila Gurudev. But Srila Gurudev actually gave us really Srila Prabhupada also. He gave us the very living Srila Prabhupada, at least to my generation. I came just after, well, just a little bit after Srila Prabhupada's disappearance. And it was Srila Gurudev that opened the door to understand Srila Prabhupada's affection and to understand Srila Guru Maharaj and his affection and his sincere, his absolute preaching mood, even though he was apparently staying in one place in his long-armed wooden chair on his veranda. But Srila Guru Maharaj, he was always wanting that the pure message of Srila Saraswati Thakur will be presented. And he showed Srila Prabhupada, Bhagavan, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, his Srila Prabhupada. He showed Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur to the world. Beyond the very strong outer persona, or the strict teacher, the strict asserter of what it is, what is Krishna consciousness and what is not Krishna consciousness. But behind that, the affection, the softness of the heart, etc. And so through Srila Gurudev, we've got our mature Krishna consciousness in the sense of its manifestation in this world, openly affectionate, openly embracing the world in that, welcoming them into that home that Srila Prabhupada gave and welcoming them with love and affection, which after all is what is given as the goal of our life, is love, sweetness, ecstasy, joy, beauty, all these things, and not the strictness of having a strict master, but the strict master has to correct naughty children at a certain point, but for the purpose of affection. Hare Krishna. Maybe today we could ask Vrindavaneshri if she would like to say a few words. Yesterday we had such a full Zoom for Brazil and many devotees, very happily many devotees there. And I wanted to ask Vrindavaneshri something, but we didn't get much opportunity because it was a busy day. And she knows too that we went on Harinam Sankirtan at hour 2:30 because we had to end the Zoom on time. So Vrindavaneshri today we'll start, if we can, if we may, to ask you just a couple of reflections on Krishna consciousness.
Dhanyavad, Gurudev. Your yesterday is my today yet. I see you just today. I saw you today. And my camera is kind of some problems sometimes, sorry. But it was a great day today in the Institute. So many girls try to make it happen, to meet there, to celebrate Anu Krishna's birthday also. And we are just feeling good and excited about going to ashram in the Gaura Purnima. So me, from Uberlândia, only myself and Krishna Prema, who is a disciple from Trivikrama Maharaj, we are going to go together and stay there in the Gaura Purnima. So we are happy that we can do that this time. But I think it's only that I don't have nothing Unfortunately, because I feel bad when I don't do that. But unfortunately, I have nothing in my pockets to share. Sorry.
And yesterday, so all the devotees know, they had a very sweet gathering. Yes, Anu Krishna's birthday and Ladies' Day. They told that yesterday was Women's Day in Brazil, or maybe in the world. And but that was only a side point. It was Anu Krishna's birthday, so more devotees came together, and they have a sweet center. I mean, not a sweet as in selling sweets center, but they have a very sweet mood center in Uberlandia, and by the grace of one devotee there, Vaishnava Prabhu, who's Srila Gurudev's disciple, and he's given a whole shop, what would be a shop if it wasn't in a small shopping mall in Uberlandia, and right opposite the university hospital, right? It's a training for doctors, as far as I know. So they got a lot of good youth, intelligent youth just nearby too.
And Gurudev, I have some news. I don't know if you already know about that, but today Vaishnava Prabhu, it wasn't possible for him to stay there because he is now a grandpa. Grandpa, avô, Lilamoi, help me. Grandpa.
Grandpa or
grandpa. He's is now a grandpa.
he is now a grandpa.
Her daughter just gave birth. How I said?
Yes.
Have a child.
Yes.
So he's a grandpa, Vaishnava grandpa between us.
Oh well, we have more devotees who are about to be grandfathers and grandmothers too.
Yes.
Means in Salt Lake City, maybe any time now, I'm not sure, very similar time, we've got Sudarshan Prabhu and Rai Kishori about to be grandpa and grandma, which is amazing when we've seen these now grandmothers and grandfathers when they were young children. Then we realize time goes by. What a strange thing time is. Okay, so please give him extra congratulations when you see him next. And we do have in the chat box, just let me take a quick look. Ananda Sundari, always good to hear your voice and see you well. Ananda Sundari, good to hear your voice in the chat box and to know you're there. She's our South African Ananda Sundari, but she's in India and will be there a little while more. Ananda Sundari, yes, there's Ananda Sundari.
Sorry, Dandavas Maharaj, how are you?
We're doing okay. Are you doing okay?
I am. I'm just in and out of treatment. I'm in the treatment room now. That's why my camera is off. But if not, everything is good. It's one more week I have, and then I'm going back home on next week, Monday.
Okay. Next week, Monday. All right. Very good. And were any devotees able to come to see you through Jayakumar?
Unfortunately, no. He's about 700 kilometers away from me, but we are in contact. And he told me whenever I come to Chennai, I must let him know, and we would definitely meet. But it doesn't look like I'll be doing that. I don't leave the center at all. I'm just told to be in here. I'm not allowed to go anywhere. So
all right.
but it's good. I'm feeling better.
And you have his good wishes, which are only 700 kilometers away.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And he told me if there's anything that I need, I should just contact him. If there's anything, and I said, thank you so much, but everything is fine for now.
Yes, very beautiful. And his nature, also that nature of helping devotees, and it's just automatic for him. He doesn't do it by duty. He does it by, oh, there's a devotee. What can I do to help? And Gurudev appreciated that quality in him, and certainly we all do too. So I'm pleased he's in touch with you there.
Yes, thank you so much, Maharaj. It's because of you that I have some contact with somebody over here.
All right, and all of us sending our good wishes to you. One more week of treatment, and then we look forward to you being able to continue without so much difficulty bodily in your life. Everyone has challenges.
That
So
is true. Thank you. Yes, and as I said, I am feeling better. I'm hoping to, when I get home, to be 10 times better than when I left, or a million times better. Things were really bad in the last few weeks before I could come, but I'm better now.
all right, we're happy to hear. So, Lecco Diri, you've always got something in your pocket. You've got lots of devotees here. Oh, don't look alarmed. You always have something in your pocket. On our Thursdays, your Wednesdays, I catch a little bit of sometimes of the Bhagavad Gita class. So we do have you on Sundays, your Saturday evening, so we may take advantage of the opportunity of your presence. You've been in Nabadwip for Nabadwip Dham Parikrama, and it's the Adhivas day here, and you can practice for your Adhivas day tomorrow. That is some preparation. Gurudev said that on Adhivas day, we should always do something in preparation for the festival. So what would you like to share with us?
Dandavat Maharaj and all the devotees, looking at everybody, and especially Sri Govinda Farm and Bimal Prabhu and everybody. Oh, well, we can't start to name everyone, but Dandavat Maharaj. Well, we've been, of course, reading Nabadwip Dham Mahatmya every day as the long Adhivas, but and remembering. Really, reading Nabadwip Dham Mahatmya is very bittersweet, isn't it? You feel so much missing of Nabadwip Dham, and also it's really so sweet to remember all these things. We've read them many years, but so much gets forgotten, and then how all these great Vaishnava acharyas like Nimbarka we read about today, and Vishnu Swami, like in Ramanuja, and how all these great personalities finally, got the mercy of Mahaprabhu. And really, we can't think of Navadvip without thinking of Srila Gurudev, because we were there in Nabadwip Dham Parikrama during many years with Srila Gurudev there, and how we just felt that we were just under this huge umbrella, like we could do no wrong. We felt so free. We felt so free, like children, because of his extremely merciful guardianship. And he would wave us out the door. Remember, come to the front gate, just wave us out the door. And we just woo, and chanting and getting in the boats to cross the Ganga and seeing Prodamaya and Shiva there, and so many things, so many wonderful. And as we're reading Nabadwip Dham Mahatmya, we can feel really almost like we're actually in those places. Those places like Vidyanagar, Soman Champahati, and so many divine, wondrous, how we've had some experiences that really such a miracle. It's all a miracle. It's just only grace. And the plane that we are approaching is the plane, like you were saying, Maharaj, is the plane of love and affection, and so much mercy. And that the Dham, though, the Dham is eternal. And we hear about Maitreya Muni and how he comes to the, Navadvip Dham undisturbed by the waves. You can conceive of the universal, it's really big. you know, how, you know, the whole universe is like almost filled with water. So these waves are probably the size of planets. And he's being tossed and turned in these waves. And then he sees this wonderful light, because Nabadwip Dham is eternal. And he takes shelter there in Sarabi Kunj. You remember how Sarabi Devi she doesn't want to go back to the heavenly planets. After bathing Krishna, she's staying there always under that tree in Godruma, and all these wonderful pastimes that you go there and you know, all these things are eternal. They're always there. They're in the present moment of eternal, you know, of eternity. There's not Nimeshe Dakyavad Bhajati Nahi Yatrapi Samaya. That verse in Brahma Samhita saying that there's no estrangement of past and future in the divine plane. So all these things are always going on there. And the very ground that we are, ostensibly we are stepping on the ground, but really we are trying to give our heart to that plane. And the whole dust of Navadvip is so affectionate. And the whole thing, everything is perfect. Actually, in all creation, everything is perfect. But we feel there's so much more in the Holy Dham. And as Madhusudana Maharaj, you know, we were talking about that little quote about Maya of Srila Guru Maharaj, and he's saying, Maya is an almost non-existent thing. It is Swarup Shakti that is existing. And Maya is simply a misunderstanding of Swarup Shakti. If we are trying to exploit the divine energy, then we must exploit illusion, because the divine energy is not exploitable. So we know that the whole environment is made of stuff that is higher than we are. But in the Holy Dham, you know, as with Srila Gurudev, Srila Gurudev's presence is giving us a feeling of affection that is beyond words or beyond what we can possibly know in this world. And the Dham is like that also. The Dham is very wondrous, and we get some experience in Nabadwip Dham Parikrama. So anyway, Maharaj, that's all. But you know, I can rattle on quite a long time, so I'll just stop. But Dhanavad.
Dhanavad. And also the feeling of being, there is something you can click on your computer, you know, that should,
Oh, is it? Oh.
in the top right corner, probably, then you click on, it says view, then you can click on gallery, then it'll show everyone smaller.
Thank you.
I understand your feeling, don't worry. So anyway, you mentioned about when we are reading Navadvip Dham Mahatmya, we're feeling that we're there, but really it's some experience from myself that I feel more there reading the Navadvip Dham Mahatmya than when we are there, if you know what I mean.
Also true.
Because we're seeing through the eyes of Jiva Goswami, we're here, you know, seeing through the eyes of Nityananda Prabhu, of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And there we can see more than, you know, the external things. We can feel a little bit when we know we feel something when we're there. But the Nabadwip Dham Mahatmya is really substantial. And this is from, you know, those who've been in Nabadwip Dham Parikrama, you know, year by year. But if we didn't have the Nabadwip Dham Mahatmya, if we didn't have devotees helping us to understand where we are when we're there, then it would be quite a different experience. So just like by ourselves, we think I'll buy a ticket, go on a plane and go around. And if we don't have any guidance, we won't know what we're doing. We won't know where we are. We won't, maybe, of course, by accident, some good things must happen to us. But the guidance, everywhere we need the guide. So Nabadwip Dham Mahatmya very essential. And the 10 offenses, the beginning of parikramas in Nabadwip, in Vrindavan, wherever we go, we always say to the devotees, please revise the 10 offenses to the holy Dham and avoid them, not only knowing them, but avoiding them too. So also, it's the Adhivas day, and it's a good day to avoid the offenses to the holy Dham. No, a good day to revise avoiding offenses to the holy Dham. And we have them on the wall, on the door, not actually on the wall here in Villa Govinda, but they're there fairly permanently. So when a notice is put up, people tend to, including myself, read it for the first day or two, and then you become so familiar with it being there that we forget to read it and remember. But it's right on the door here as a reminder, because Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur told, wherever the Lord and the devotees are being glorified, that is a holy place. So we must be careful everywhere, not to make offense. And the very first offense in the Nabadwip, in the offenses to the holy Dham, are to disrespect the Guru, who is the revealer of the Dham. And then another one is to disrespect the Shastras, which are glorifying the Dham. And why? Because that is the very means for us to know the difference between, earth, mud, heat, cold, all the things which may be externally present, and what is there within the Dham. So feeling. Hare Krishna. And let us come to the grand assembly of Vaishnavas in Sri Govinda Ashram, which includes Keshavananda Prabhu's shoulder and head and body and heart. Hare Krishna. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 present and more capable devotees. Each of them are able to say something. Oh, 8. There we are. And Krishna Priya is somewhere around 9. 9 capable devotees, each are able to shed some illumination. Hare Krishna. Oh, she's taken the post behind the sofa, and she's engaged.
Garlands.
Making garlands. Wonderful, engaged in seva.
Beautiful garlands for Giraj.
Dandavat. Happy to be there in the holy land of Sri Govinda Farm Ashram.
Right.
Yes, so Keshavananda Prabhu, Parvananda Prabhu, Ram Sundar Prabhu,
Yes.
with you in the picture too. Yes.
It's always in the picture.
We're being transported, Maharaj, by hearing from Sri Lecco and others about Nabadwip Dham Parikrama. Oh my goodness, I remember thinking at the time and thinking of time, like we heard that beautiful reference about the upper world, there's no estrangement of past and future, when we were hearing before Prabhu becoming grandfather and so many things, as time relentlessly moves without us noticing. The years, the decades, the lifetimes roll by. But not like that in Nabadwip Dham, not like that in Vrindavan, not suffering that separation, that estrangement. And I remember going on Nabadwip Dham Parikrama and thinking that I'd stepped into eternity. It had that sort of quality about it, that this is something outside of, maybe this was just some sentimental feeling, but I felt that anyway, that we're moving in a sort of eternal wave that's going on under the instruction and affectionate heart shelter of our masters. And she like saying, Gurudev coming down to the gate, waving us off, and everybody shooting out the gate, and the little Bengal is aste, slow down a bit, I can't keep up. And as a young devotee, a lot of the time I had no idea where I was, really. I mean, I'd like to say, and I was absorbed in so many things, but really, you know, I could try and get close to Aranya Maharaj and Giri Maharaj with their battered Bengali copies of Sri Nabadwip Dham Mahatmya, and they'd be finding the chapter and reading, and maybe could hear something from Srila Janard Maharaj or Ashram Maharaj. But it's a lot of devotees. And Srila mentioned crossing the Ganga. You come to the Ganga, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of you and pile on these boats. Sometimes they sink. I've seen that. And then crossing the Ganga, and all the flags are flying. The devotees all have flags, and there's madangas and kirtan going on, and there's our boat and the boat over here and the boat over here. And it felt like some other world, out of our mundane, something wonderful and worshipable. Seeing the dolphins jumping into the kirtan of Mahaprabhu. So it's so wonderful to, you know, and all driven by affection, actually. I mean, we have so much wonderful, substantial, you know, philosophy, Siddhanta, that it behooves us to become familiar with. But that can take some time. And I know when I first came, it wasn't that. It wasn't anything like that melted my heart. It was the devotees, their affection. It was the affection of the devotees and their tolerating me and their prasadam. And it was those simple but most important things that attract and sustain. And then as the years go by, I found myself more nourished too by the philosophical side of things, you can say. But ultimately, the heart, being with the devotees on the parikrama, whether it's physically there in the holy dham, or just together and remembering and reading and hearing of those places and those pastimes, and seeing them through the eyes of our beautiful guardians, then we're getting nourishment now, just hearing from that, and anticipating that, those and also we're appreciating that we are sitting here very peacefully at the lotus feet of Giriraj and hearing these things, because at the same time, you know, Sri Nabadwip Dham and Mayapur Dham and all these places are very, very, very busy now. There's so many thousands and lakhs and maybe crores of devotees engaged in the different parikramas from the different mats and the different places. And we'll be getting a little hot now. So it would vary from year to year. Some years it would be those portions where we had to walk on the road. The tar would melt and stick to your feet, and then the little stones would stick in the tar that was on your feet. So now you're walking on stones even when you're walking on grass. And all miraculous things like this. The long road back from the Shingapali. Sometimes I heard devotees jumped on the bus, but I can't say for sure. And this kind of thing, you know. And then we come back to the mat. Nagare Pramiyama Goelo Gore, and everybody dancing and dancing, and the ladies and Siddhanti Maharaj very tall, banging his wampers, and Tirtha Maharaj dancing around, and all the devotees there so happy to come home, because however wonderful it is to go on Nabadwip Dham Parikrama to so many places, to come to our own home is the most beautiful and the most perfect and the most sweet. This beautiful transcendental oasis that Guru Maharaj and Gurudev made in their service to the devotees, the service to their masters. They're seeing like that. And they were always so happy to come home and, bedraggled and covered in dust and maybe, so many things. We'd come home and really feel like home sweet home, how happy we were to be there on the banks of the Ganga in Sri Nabadwip Dham. Jai.
Jai. I think at this point, can we just humbly ask, because we're all seated together in one place, ask the Bimal Krishna Prabhu and Istadevika, because they have a couple of comments, I know, something to express. Bimal Krishna, would you like to share a little bit?
Dandavat Maharaj, Dandavat devotees. I feel like I was either Keshavananda was seeing through my eyes or I was seeing through his eyes, because my experience is so similar. I don't recall a lot of the places we'd go to. It was kind of like, where are we and what is going on here? What happened? What are the pastimes here? And you get little snippets of kind of what was going on. And, they would read from the book. But like Keshavananda said, there are a lot of devotees, but I just remember, for me, it's little snippets and it's a lot of just remembrances of the devotees. I remember more kind of the devotees I was with at the times in these places, more than I actually kind of remember the places themselves. But I also just remember just being proud to be walking behind the banner of Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Math and seeing the devotees carrying the banners as a seva, and they would carry the banner the whole parikrama, and as a seva, and just thinking how beautiful that was, and carrying the flags and the kirtan. Everyone's so enthusiastic, and by about day 3, all the mridanga players have tape on their hands. These are things I remember, but the kirtans were just magical, like almost like floating, and I remember too, though, for me, I think there was like some purification as well. Like, I feel like, I think there's some sacrifice and there's some burning when you're doing these things as well, naturally. And especially for myself, one day I actually went back to the temple because my mind was too irritated. I don't know, I'm about 4 feet taller than everybody else there, but I think I just couldn't tolerate tight spaces. I'm kind of a big person, but anyway, I think there was some purification, so one day I didn't even make it on the full parikrama. I went back to the temple and I chanted japa, but just beautiful memories, beautiful kirtans. And I just remember the build up to Gaura Purnima, like at the arti, it felt like a rocket ship. I think everyone, that energy for the 3-4 days builds, and then everyone comes in the kirtan is it feels like a rocket ship taking off or something. I don't know how else to explain it, but just really beautiful to see the devotees there, and just happy memories. But that's kind of my experience. Jai.
Jai, Bimal Krishna Prabhu. And in Bimal Krishna Prabhu's defense, maybe most of the people are much shorter. They're not so tall as Bimal Krishna Prabhu. But those short, old ladies have very pointed elbows. They know how to maneuver through a crowd. So well done that you only skipped one part of a day, because it can be quite a challenge. And we may think we're healthy coming from the West, but to keep up, sometimes Keshavananda also pointed out they sometimes go very fast, and how to keep up. But these old ladies and old men, they have a way of navigating. So Bimal Krishna, you did very well putting in a word for your defense there. Hare Krishna, Jai. And by the way, the dust. And part of the parikramas really is quite, if it hasn't rained, it's quite dusty because we're not walking on the road. This is going through the tracks, which are just mud tracks or sandy tracks. And so there's a cloud of dust as the kirtan is going down the road or the track doing the parikrama. And then that dust, everyone comes back, it's covered in dust mixed with sweat. Very good combination. Okay, so we're going to slip back to Sri Govinda farm again because they got lots of devotees there to share. And nearest the camera is Paramananda Prabhu.
Well, the Bimal, Krishna and Keshavananda Prabhu was both painted a very vivid picture of Nabadwip Dham Parikrama. And yes, I mean, I can just repeat the experiences, but of course we all had our unique feelings and unique emotions living through these days. And yes, the build-up itself, Govinda Maharaj is giving his darshans and slowly is building up just before the parikrama. And then the final, not the final first day, what is actually happening, Govinda Maharaj is giving full blessing, full support. But I do remember there was one more Vaishnava present who was also waving and maybe smiling too. That was Bhaktaranjan Mahananda Das.
Yes.
He was always present there. And of course, the biggest enthusiasts of the parikrama from the western side, Janardhan Maharaj, Asha Maharaj, Chidananda, and later Siddhanti Maharaj, and few other Vaishnavas, the visiting Vaishnavas, and Giri Maharaj, no doubt, Narayana Maharaj. Despite their advanced age, they will be in avant-garde party, Tirtha Maharaj. And well,
yes,
it's hard to imagine a parikrama without Janardhan Maharaj. And I was just joking with the devotees when I heard the news that Janardhan Maharaj is certainly not coming this year. I said, yes, I have been hearing it for the last 20 years. And I said, he will be coming. And I was right. I think he's probably landing or already landed there, and he should be there for the parikrama. And of course, we would remember Srila Guru Maharaj's advice to the devotees who are visiting Dham, that our main service is to acquire a proper angle of vision and everything. And I had to force myself. I have to admit that it wasn't like I was ecstatic to go, all engine firing up. No, I had to force myself out because I had some experience during my ISKCON time parikramas, and they're slightly different. I mean, the ISKCON parikrama just goes away for 7 days and never come back to the temple. But it was so nice to come back to the home base to see Govinda Maharaj in the morning, in the evening, after the parikrama. So I had that experience. I knew what is awaiting me. So there will be a lot of acquiring proper angle of vision, like this opportunity. And that's what you're busy with while you're walking through all those streets. And like both of them pointed out, in the end, you're so busy acquiring that proper angle of vision that you don't really understand where are we again? Anybody there? Can you tell us? And then then you start hearing the glories of those places. And then it suddenly hits you, and then you feel that literally the ground is burning under your feet. It's so holy. It's only when you hear it from the Vaishnavas, the glories of those places, that you start, that Yoga Maya covering is starting to lift up just for a split of a moment, and then it comes to you. This is the place, and this is where all those leelas actually happen. And this is your good fortune to be here right now in the company of these Vaishnavas. And sometimes you would think, oh, I have been here. I've been touring the Dham as a tourist. But it was so different compared to when you are in a proper company. And everybody's trying to glorify the pastime that happened there, share the realizations. Usually devotees will be sitting in a circle. The senior Vaishnavas will be sitting in a circle. We will be gathering around them. Someone will be charged with the translation seva, which I was quite often doing. Wasn't as bad as in ISKCON. We had close to 1,500 Russian-speaking devotees. I was only one of 2 available interpreters, so it was quite difficult. But in the time of our parikramas. There were quite just a few devotees. It was quite easy. And another pastime I remember during the bigger groups, like Keshavananda Prabhu was saying that, and we hear how people would cross the Ganges to see Mahaprabhu when Mahaprabhu came after some time he spent in Jagannath Puri, and then he came and he stayed in the house of Vidyavachaspati, I believe. Am I correct? And then
I
people
think
wanted
so.
to go,
Yeah.
wanted to go and see him, and some of them needed to cross the Ganges, and many of them, and Indians in general, they don't know how to swim properly. So they never thought about it, never crossed their mind. They just jump into the Ganges, and somehow they crossed the Ganges, and everybody made it alive. And that's described in Chaitanya Charitamrita, or maybe Chaitanya Bhagavat. So in a similar way, the bigger parikramas sometimes, I remember the incident when the big loaded boats were crossing the Jalangi River. And it's a relatively short ride, but you know, devotees are very ecstatic. They're in the middle of parikrama, they're already in a mood. They're singing kirtan and they cannot stop doing that. They're unstoppable. So it means they're getting on the boat, it's overloaded, and everybody's jumping up and down, dancing, and singing the kirtan. And I remember we crossed the river, and I'm looking back on the boat, and I'm seeing the ecstatic kirtan. I'm seeing how the boat starts dancing along with the devotees, and then what do you call that? There's a word for that. It just increases that the movement increasing, it just capsizes. And all the devotees end up in the water. And then some of them came out. I'm trying, is everything all right? I said, yes, we saw the most wonderful thing. I said, what did you see? Some inhabitants of the Holy Dham in the Jalangi River. What was that? I said, no, we saw absolutely incredible picture. There were some of those devotees with mridangas and karatals that were standing on the bottom of Jalangi trying to play the karatal and mridang still. And that was the most incredible. They were so much into the whole mood of it. They couldn't stop even at the bottom of the river. Hard to picture, but wonders are happening there. Yes. And as we go, a different holy place will touch the heart of the devotees in a different way. And for some devotees, that place will be, well, how do you know? Yeah. Like some special feelings will come, however sentimental they can be. We're not discussing that. We're following Govinda Maharaj's advice. If any feeling come to you of that kind of quality, you just lock it in the locker of your heart. Don't make an advertisement out of, oh, I felt something. It's not like that. But everyone can admit that they felt something special in a particular place as they go on Parikrama. And I remember my favorite place was always Swananda Sukhanda Kunj, the place of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, the Godrumadvip, the whole area of Godrumadvip was something absolutely, I don't know, any place is absolutely incredible, but that place is very special. And also those lunches during the Parikrama, when everybody chooses, yes, Sri Lanka is like, yes, the lunch. It's so simple, but it feels like it's some kind of incredible feast, and you're just sitting on the ground, on the dust of the Holy Land, on the very ground of the Holy Land, under some kind of a tree, if you're lucky, most likely, in the open, but you're not feeling disturbed at all. And there's something very simple coming our way. Very simple subject, simple khichdi. I forgot what it was, but it just felt like a feast. And then after that, we're fighting. Yes, Shreleka, did you wanted to say something? Go ahead.
I've heard Hariharaya Chetra, you know, that place, Hariharaya Chetra, and that beautiful woods there. And we're all sitting like a million devotees are sitting there. And you can't forget that prasadam. It really was so astonishing. Anyway, I'm just, okay. And also in 1 year in Mamgachi, and we got to that Mamgachi beautiful place, unreal, unbelievable place. And Srila Acharya Maharaj had arranged these little boxes for our breakfast. And it was just a bread bun and some little bit of sabji and a rasgulla. And we felt that we were we couldn't imagine anything more wonderful. And I think I'll never forget that. Excuse me, Mark.
Well, that confirms what Keshavananda Prabhu was saying. Ask him, what did inspire you joining Krishna consciousness? He said, affection of the devotees and prasadam. So we should always remember how important this prasadam seva part in our life. And anyhow, just to conclude, even though we're sitting here and the parikrama is happening somewhere else, it does not mean that this is not the holy place. In fact, if we speak and remember Sri Nabadwip Dham, the Nabadwip Dham will fully manifest in that very place, according to the degree of our sincerity and our faith. We will feel its presence. There's no doubt about it, wherever we are. So Maharaj was saying that he posted, or devotees posted, the offenses of the holy Dham in the ashram or in the temple. And it's very crucial to remember, but that those ashrams and the temples, they're non-different from the holy place, non-different from the Dham. So we have to practice, those who are especially living in those places, we have to remember that, and we have to practice avoidance of all those offenses on a daily basis. And every time we speak about Vrindavan Dham, Purushottam Dham, Nabadwip Dham, that Dham will manifest in those places around the world, even though we're geographically not present there. It could be Sokel, Salt Lake, Milano, Chiang Mai, some places in Brazil, anywhere in the world, or Australia. We're going today to Kelly and Abhinava Sundar just to see if they're okay. So all those places, they're the holy Dhams, they're the embassies. I think Sri Lecco again wants to say something. I just saw your eager face. So it's good to remember that. That's what I wanted to say.
Sorry, Mara, excuse me. No, I'm just saying it's comforting to hear that, because you do feel some separation for sure. You think, but it is really comforting to remember that remembrance is also a gift, a blessing. So, Hare Krishna.
Yeah, I was simply saying, I put into the chat box, I dropped the PDF file in there of the 10 offenses to the Holy Dham. So if you don't have them, now is a good time. You can collect them there. And some affectionate notes from Rukmini Devi Dasi in appreciation that, yes, Srila Gurudev, he cared for everyone, and in the mat, everyone was cared for by the shade of Srila Gurudev's affectionate glance. And we started with affection and affection all the way through, and our life is going to the land of affection. So let us always remember that we're not on a futile, oh, why I do this and why should I spend my time, doing something in sadhana-wise, that word the devotees don't really like very much. It seems, but we should. But we are going to the land of affection, and whatever we can do to please our masters, we should try to do that. Anyway, today, I'm very happy to hear some reflections about the Holy Dham, about the Nabadwip Dham Parikrama, and it is very good for us to prepare ourselves, and let us be conscious, do something a little extra each day this week, coming up all the way through till Gaurupanima, to remember the parikramas and to be absorbed in Nabadwip Dham Mahatmya, because whether we are in Nabadwip or not in Nabadwip, that is where our consciousness, if you like, will be guided. And of course, from Srila Gurudev and Srila Guru Maharaj, and from many guidances that they've given there in the Holy Dham. And what is the big event? The big event is mass association of similar-minded devotees who appreciate Mahaprabhu, the holy name, Prasadam, Parikrama, and again, coming back to this expression, which is very sweet. Actually, the devotees are the majority, and we see that in the Nabadwip Dham Parikramas, we see that in Jaipur, in Vrindavan, in Jagannath Puri, in Nabadwip. But only we are living in a minority area when we're living in different places around the world. But with that living in a minority area, we should try to do good for others so that they can see that the devotees are the majority and that the majority of the creation is happy and not suffering under, misery or threats of misery or this, that, and the other, and anyhow suffering under temporary bodily identification. That most of the world, most of the creation, by that I mean creation, it's Vaikuntha. And the head part of Vaikuntha is Goloka Vrindavan. And Goloka Vrindavan, there is place for us all in that affectionate shelter of the residents of Vrindavan. And we've got that shelter and that guidance and connection through Srila Gurudev, through Srila Guru Maharaj, and through Srila Prabhupada. So let us go home happily with the association of devotees. And let us be careful, just as we've got the 10 offenses to the holy Dham, let us be careful not to make any offenses to the holy name, which is headed by making offense to the devotees. We go on carefully in our life and proceed happily, and we can give our respects from a distance to all the Vaishnavas. And we shall try to find the affectionate family of devotees who are very comfortable, who we are comfortable to be with, and who've got some similar aspiration, etc., and appreciation, and keep their company, and keep their company is very dear. So in that company, your dear association, then continuing happily today, and with encouragement for us all to be together by heart in Sri Nabadwip Dham Parikrama with Jiva Goswami and Sri Nityananda Prabhu through Bhaktivinoda Thakur's revelation in Nabadwip Dham Mahatmya. Hare Krishna. All right, well, we better go. We always have some duty to do. Even on Nabadwip Parikrama, we've got duty to do. So let us prepare for tomorrow's journey. Don't forget, no shoes. And sometimes the Harinam Prabhu, he quite chastises if somebody tries to wear shoes. And then devotees sneak in some slippers into their backpack or something. And then Harinam Prabhu finds out you slipped some, so you got slippers in your backpack and you're going into a temple. You cannot do this. And we've got some devotees who do remind us of the proper standard. But Srila Gurudev keeping us in the practical standard, I can say. Yes, Keshavananda Prabhu.
No, Maharaj, I was just remembering of Srila Janardhan Maharaj happily informing me that to go barefoot was Vidimarg and to go in Birkenstocks was Ragamarg.
Oh, well done. We don't remember all advice that comes to us from the devotees, but some advice we selectively remember. All right. And if nobody knows what Birkenstocks are, they used to be like the necessity of the sannyasis was to wear vegetarian Birkenstocks. How you get a vegetarian Birkenstock, I have no idea, and I'm sure they're very tasty. All right, dear ones. And what was the other thing? There was some bag that all the sannyasis had to carry, made by a certain company, caribou. Some caribou bags and things like this. All right, anyway, let's come to the present. The present will be practical. Chant Hare Krishna, keep association of the devotees. Humble, be humble, tolerant, give honor to others, and let us all join Nabadwip Dham Parikrama by heart from wherever we are. Jai, our wonderful Srila Gurudev, Om Vishnupad, Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj, Ki Jai, Jai, Srila Guru Maharaj, founder and charge of Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Math, Om Vishnupad, Srila Bhakti Rock Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj, Ki Jai, Jai, Srila Prabhupada, who's brought the whole world under that umbrella of Krishna consciousness, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. And all of this coming by the grace of Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki jai, Srila Gaur Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai, and Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur, the origin of this wave of Krishna consciousness that's broken out from the borders of India and come to the whole world. Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki jai. And now Sri Rupa Nuga Guru Vaga ki jai. The holy name ki jai, and the Acharya of the holy name, Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. And Nabadwip deities jai Saprika Shri Guru Gauranga Gandhava Govinda Sundar ki jai. Shri Nabadwip Dham ki jai. Shri Gangamayi ki jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. All the assembled devotees ki jai. And Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Acharya Brinda ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari. Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.
Jai Srila Bhaktiranjan Madhusudan Maharaj ki jai.
Dandavad devotees with all best wishes. Govinda Govinda. Hari Hari. I'll leave you all hugging each other and sending blessings to each other.